From translation, ISV International Standard Version, this 145th day of the year, today we are reading passages Nehemiah 4-6, Nehemiah chapter 4, verses 1 to 23. When Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, he became furious and was greatly enraged. He mocked the Jews before his colleagues and the powerful men of Samaria. He said, "What are these feeble Jews doing? Will they restore their wall? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they finish in a day? Will they revive the stones from the heaps of rubble, even the burned ones?" Tobiah the Ammonite, who was standing beside him, said, "Even what they're building, if a fox climbs on it, he will break down their stone wall. Hear us, our God, for we are being mocked. May their insults be turned back on their own heads. Let them be taken as plunder into a land of captivity. Do not forgive their guilt or blot out their sin from your sight, because they have provoked you in front of the builders." So we rebuilt the wall until all of it was joined together to half its height, because the people had a mind to work. When Sanballat, Tobiah, the Arabs, the Ammonites, and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were being restored, and the gaps were beginning to be closed, they became furious, and all of them plotted together to come and attack Jerusalem and to cause confusion in it. But we prayed to our God, and posted a guard against them day and night because of them. Then Judah said, "The strength of the laborers is failing, and there is so much rubble that we are not able to build the wall. Our enemies are saying, before they are aware of it or see us, we will be there and kill them and put an end to the work." Then the Jews who lived near them came and told us 10 times, "Wherever you turn, they will attack us." So I stationed the people behind the wall in sections, with swords, spears, and bows. I appointed some of the people to stand behind their own families, carrying their weapons, killing and slaying whenever the enemy should come near our houses. When I saw their fear, I got up and stood in the middle of them and said to them, "Do not be afraid of them. Remember the great and awesome Lord, and fight for your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses." When our enemies heard that we knew their plans and that God had frustrated them, we all returned to the wall, everyone to his own work. From that day on, half of my servants worked on the wall, while the other half held the spears, shields, bows, and coats of armor. The officers supported all the people of Judah. The workers who were rebuilding the wall and those who carried the burdens loaded themselves, so that with one hand they worked on the work, and with the other hand held a weapon. Each of the builders had his sword strapped at his side while he built. The trumpeter stood beside me. Then I said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, "The work is extensive and spread out over a great distance, and we are on the wall far apart from one another. Wherever you hear the sound of the trumpet, rally to us there. Our God will fight for us." So we worked on the wall, and half of the men held spears from daybreak until the stars came out. At that time I also said to the people, "Let each man stay in Jerusalem with his servant, so that they may serve us as night guards as well as day workers." Neither I nor my brothers nor my servants nor the guards with me took off our clothes, except that everyone took them off to wash. Nehemiah chapter 5, verses 1-19. Then there was a great outcry from the people and from their wives against their fellow Jews. Some were saying, "We have sons and daughters. We want to get grain so that we may eat and live." Others were saying, "We are mortgaging our fields, vineyards, and homes to get grain during the famine." Still others were saying, "We have had to borrow money to pay the king's tax on our fields and vineyards. Now our flesh is the same as that of our brothers, our children are the same as their children. Yet we are forcing our sons and daughters to be slaves, and some of our daughters have already been enslaved, while we are powerless, because our fields and vineyards belong to others." When I heard their outcry and these words, I was very angry. After I had consulted with myself, I brought charges against the nobles and officials. I said to them, "You are exacting usury from your own brothers." So I called a great assembly against them and said to them, "We have tried to buy back our fellow Jews who were sold to the nations, but you are even selling your own brothers so that we can buy them back." They were silent and could not offer a response. Then I said, "What you are doing is not good. Should you not walk in the fear of our God to avoid the abuse from the nations, our enemies? I and my brothers and my servants are lending them money and grain. Please let us stop charging this interest. Return them this very day their fields, their vineyards, their olive groves, and their houses, and also the interest on the money, the grain, the wine, and the oil that you have been charging them." Then they said, "We will give them back and demand nothing from them. We will do as you say." And I called the priests and made them take an oath that they would do according to this promise. I also shook out the folds of my robe and said, "In this way may God shake out everyone who does not keep this promise, from his house and his possessions." And all the assembly said, "Amen," and they praised the Lord. Then the people did according to this promise. From the time that I was appointed to be their governor in the land of Judah, from the 20th year to the 32nd year of King Artaxerxes, For 12 years, neither I nor my brothers ate the food allowance of the governor. The former governors who were before me laid heavy burdens on the people, and took from them for their daily food 40 shekels of silver. Even their servants ruled over the people, but because I feared God, I did not act that way. I also devoted myself to the work on this wall, and no land did I acquire, so all my servants were gathered there for the work. There were at my table 150 Jews and officials, besides those who came to us from the nations around us. That which was prepared for each day was 1 ox and 6 choice sheep, as well as birds for me and for everyone with me, and every 10 days an abundant supply of all kinds of wine was given. Yet I did not demand the food allowance of the governor, because the service was heavy on this people. Remember me, my God, for good, according to all that I have done for this people. Nehemiah chapter 6, verses 1 to 19. When Sanballat, Tobiah, Geshem the Arab, and the rest of our enemies heard that I had rebuilt the wall, and that there were no gaps left in it, even though at that time I had not yet set the doors in the gates, Sanballat and Geshem sent to me, saying, Come, let us meet together in the villages of the Ono plain. But they intended to harm me. I sent messengers to them, saying, I am doing a great work and cannot come down. Why should the work stop while I leave it to come down to you? They sent to me 4 times in this way, and I answered them in the same way. Then Sanballat sent his servant to me in the same way a 5th time with an open letter in his hand in which it was written, It is reported among the nations, and Geshem also says, that you and the Jews intend to rebel. That is why you are rebuilding the wall. You are to be their king, according to these reports. You have also appointed prophets to proclaim about you in Jerusalem, There is a king in Judah. Now it will be reported to the king according to these things. So come now, and let us take counsel together. I sent to him, saying, Such things as you are saying have not been done, but you are inventing them in your own mind. For they were all trying to make us afraid, thinking, Their hands will fail from the work, and it will not be done. But now, O God, strengthen my hands. When I went to the house of Shemaiah the son of Delaiah, son of Mehetabel, who was confined at his home, he said, Let us meet together in the house of God, inside the temple, and let us close the doors of the temple, because they are coming to kill you. They are coming to kill you at night. But I said, Should a man like me flee? And who is there who could go into the temple and live? I will not go in. Then I realized that God had not sent him, but he had pronounced this prophecy against me because Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. He was hired so that I would be afraid and do this and sin, and get a bad reputation, in order that they could reproach me. Remember, O my God, Tobiah and Sanballat, according to these things that they have done, and also the prophetess Noadiah and the rest of the prophets who intended to make me afraid. The wall was finished on the 25th day of the month of Elul, in 52 days. When all our enemies heard of it, all the nations around us were afraid and fell into great shame, for they realized that this work had been accomplished with the help of our God. Also in those days many letters were sent from the nobles of Judah to Tobiah, and Tobiah's letters came to them. For many in Judah had taken an oath to him, because he was the son-in-law of Shechaniah the son of Arah, and his son Jehohanan had married the daughter of Meshullam, the son of Berechiah. They also praised him in my presence, and his words were reported to me. Then Tobiah sent letters to frighten me,